Hi, this is the CFD nozzle for propulsions. The first thing I did it was put the geometry for my C-D nozzle. I started with three 3 meters of the conversion, 1 meter of the throttle, and 4 meters for the end of the divergent section of the nozzle. The distance from inlet to outlet is going to be 12 meters. And here's the geometry. For the max section, I used a I used a triangular method for the whole structure to mesh the figure. I put pressure inlet right here, and I put pressure outlet, and obviously the wall boundaries. The mesh looked like this after I meshed it, which is a pretty accurate mesh. As you can see, there's a lot of small triangles to make it precise when I go to the result section, the setup section. For the fluent, for the first model, for the first model, we have to calculate for isentropic state with no shock. I did energy. It's gonna be on. Uh, it's gonna be inviscid. Everything here is pretty much constant. General, it's a pressure base, velocity formula is absolute, and time is steady. For the fluid, uh, I did I did air and for the ideal gas, air for ideal gas. The first inlet, uh, the inlet I did uh three 3 M Pascal to give some pressure in the inlet. And for the first one, the outlet is going to be 0 Pascal. For the initialization, I did only 10 because it takes a second to converge. I also didn't include the video of the geometry and the mesh because it's taking a while, so it will make the video for like 30, 40 minutes. Wrong calculation, I put 50. So we could have some convergent reasonable values to calculate. Mhm. Let's see how to talk a little more about this. Nothing here. Right there. For the solid, I didn't do anything else. Uh, yeah, that was pretty much it. Just wait is for it to converge. The next one I'm gonna do 25, so it doesn't take this long. For the next C-D Nozzle calculations that we are supposed to do. Perfect. Now I got some values. First, let's do the contour for the velocity. For the velocity, I'm gonna do only this once this is all. So I'm gonna show you guys how to get the center line right after. For the velocity, here we see that as we're supposed to get, which is basically a regular uh velocity supersonic at the inlet, and as soon as it gets to the throttle, it doesn't do a shock, but it increased the velocity by all the way up to like 6.2 Mach. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's 6.2 meters per second squared, right? Yes, no, yeah, meters per second. Or yes, that's right. Oh no, I think it's 619 meters per second, which is around Mach 2. Yes, it's a little bit below Mach 2. Then we're gonna calculate the pressure contours. The static pressure for all of this here. And here, as you can see, is exactly opposite how it should be. We start with a lot of pressure in the convergent side of the nozzle, and as you diverge, the pressure decreases. Nothing much to say here. For the third one, I'm gonna find the density. The density should be around the same thing as for the pressure, which is exactly what we see here. The density as we enter the convergence section, it's high, and as soon as we start diverging, then the nozzle starts getting less density as their molecules start spreading with lower pressure. Then the third one is the speed of sound. See how the speed of sound propagates velocity. Here's the speed of sound. As we can see, the speed of sound, it's increasing in the convergence section, and then it diverges as the diffuser increases in area. And also this is in meters per second, obviously, which also this follows pretty much what the speed of sound should be. It starts approximately 347, which the speed of sound is 343 meters per second. That's half of the speed of sound, so it starts with half of it, and then as it diverges, it goes below probably like a 0.4 the speed of sound. The second to last is going to be the temperature. Here's the temperature, which is pretty much uh opposite of the pressure and density. Is it as it should be? So you have a lot of we started with a higher temperature, and as we diverged it also, the temperature started decreasing into the outlet. And the last one should be the Mach number. We started going to find velocity. Mach number right here, which is the Mach number as you're entering the diffuser, the convergent part of the diffuser, it start increasing, and then as soon as you pass through the throttle, the Mach number starts increasing. Now for the center line, you will go here for the plot. Then you will create a new surface, right? Create a new surface line. Then here you will define it, define your the center line that you want, and then you will put, for example, from in my case, I did it from 0 to 1. So 0 to 1, so we can have like I guess like a range of values on the graph and see how the center line how it moves from the center line above. The center line we have this right here for the pressure. It it goes as high as a pressure could be, and then the pressure starts decreasing as it goes to the nozzle because pressure it has to be decreasing after you go through basically a conversion of the diffuser. And then obviously it diverges, so then pressure has to go down. So it is the peak of the pressure as you're gonna experience, and then to drop it. Uh, Now let's go for the next calculation, right? Which it will be what happens if a shock would have happened on the convergent diffuser. We stay with the same variables, which is energy on, and viscid. Everything stays the same. The only thing that's gonna change is the outlet pressure, right? To chock it. So we're gonna probably put the inlet pressure, if the inlet pressure that we started with was a around 3 pascals, then we're gonna probably put a lower choke the pressure and the Mach number and the velocity. Should be 6. Yes, perfect. We also gonna decrease the temperature to 100 to make a sense of why we're dropping the pressure so low. Uh, Now we could do the iterations one more time. It's gonna take a second. Also, I'm gonna decrease the run calculation so we don't waste that much time in this part. Run calculations. Let's do 25 this time. Calculate. This part, we should see a shock in the diffuser part of the nozzle, which basically means that the flow has to be overexpanded as well. Anything that deals with overexpanded flows, the shock always happens inside the diffuser part of the nozzle. We should be getting there. Okay, let's see how it looks pretty good. Let's see the contours for the perfect. Let's see the contours for the first one here, which it was velocity, right? That's the first one we have to find velocity. See what happens with the velocity. As you can see, the velocity is entering, and there's a clear view of like where the shock happens in the velocity contour. As soon as you enter, there's a there's a lower velocity, and as soon as you pass through the to the conversion section, you increase it, and then because of the pressure, the back pressure, it's low, then it creates a shock in the divergent section of the nozzle, and here we show how it shocks and the pressure decrease and the velocity decreases again. Now for the pressure. For the pressure, you can see basically the same thing that it was supposed to happen. The pressure, it's really high at the inlet, yes, of the conversion section, and then as soon as you go to the throttle, it it decreases, and then in the shock increases the pressure a little more. Let's go for the density. The density is going to be kind of, yeah, almost exactly the same as the pressure. Just because in ideal gas constant, if you like do the ideal gas, basically, uh, there linear correlation between pressure and density. The second one is going to be the speed of sound. See how it changes. In the speed of sound, obviously, we enter the nozzle with a pretty high speed of sound. Then, as soon as you go through the throttle, it it decreases, and as soon as the shock happens, then you start increasing again the velocity of sound. For the temperature, should be exactly the same as a speed of sound. You enter with high temperature values because of what we indicated right at the beginning of the problem, right? We said velocity is going to enter obviously a 300 Kelvin, and after you go through the throttle, you're gonna decrease that temperature, and as soon as the shock happens, then the temperature starts increasing once again, as we see here. And for the Mach number, we're going to see a converging section, which is increasing the Mach number. And then as soon as we go to a throttle, the Mach number increases. And then as soon as you hit the shock, then the Mach number has a boom and it decreases as well as other problems that we have basically seen in high speed aerodynamics, which is basically a shock. Like as you enter, you have probably like a Mach. In this case, is a Mach 1.1.29, and as soon as the shock happens, it decreases all the way to like a 0.8 or lower than most likely lower than 1 if the Mach is not a high in this case as it is now. Then for the pre-op, we're gonna do exactly the same thing, right? We're gonna do a new annual line information. Then we're gonna put exactly how the center line wants to be from 0 to 1, right? As we said before, just so we could have like a graph. Then we go to the center line plot, right? That is the only one that we want to see exactly how the pressure changes in that center line. And then we see that as before, right? As before, obviously the highest pressure is going to be exactly at the throttle of the divergent conversion section, right? And as you start increasing here, the shock uh happens, and then you just keep. I think if you like properly put this graph, I think that shock is happening here. So as soon as you see like this little lift here, as soon as the shock happens, then the lift is going to be incrementing the pressure once again. And yeah, no, here's the little mini exercise that for the proportions class. Thank you.